I mean, I could try this one last time.
Okay, welcome back, guys, to the Madcore Hunter podcast. This week we've got something a little bit different. Sorry, Danny couldn't join. He's getting stuff done around the house. He's got a pronghorn hunt he's trying to get in. But I joined these Facebook groups and this and that. And I was scrolling through Indiana bucks, and I see a monster. And by gosh, I decided to reach out to Cameron Masters, the guy who was, I don't know if I'm going to say luck. I think it takes a little bit more sometimes, and reached out to him to get him on the podcast. So he's been generous enough to come on the podcast. I wanted to get with him, have him tell the story, and just by kind of a little bit of Facebook stalk, seems like he's a well-seasoned whitetail hunter. So Cameron, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Good. How about you?
Doing good, man. Just running trail cams and trying to get a hunt in here and there before daylight savings. It seems like when that hits, it's tough to get a hunt in after work, but it's happening. I had some buddies that have been successful, and obviously you.
I got mine early this year.
Yeah. So I guess before we get into that, and luckily you have the rack so people will be able to see it, and you've got some other good ones behind you. You were showing me before we started this. I guess what a little bit of your story and what got you into chasing big whitetail.
Well, my dad's the one that got me started. I was probably, I think I was 8 years old when I first started hunting. Um, it just started there, and then watched a couple big ones fall, and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
After I see a big one, and you know how you are when you're a kid, it was like magic to see something large, and it's consumed my thoughts since then. Like and my child, or both children, really. It's just something, I think once you do it, it just stays with you. If not, I don't know how it couldn't anyway.
No, yeah, it's a wonderful, and the people you meet along the way, and that's kind of why we decided to do this podcast. Like people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know, I enjoy doing it. You meet a lot of people, you get good feedback. If somebody can be entertained or get some education or just share some stories, preferably Indiana, not that I want to broadcast the state, but I'm proud to hunt Indiana. And I guess, have you always hunted Indiana? Is that where you grew up hunting?
I've hunted Indiana and Ohio. Like I've had a family that's got a small parcel in Ohio, and then I leased ground in Ohio, but mostly, in the earlier days, it was always Indiana, pretty much.
Okay. So, do you have an Ohio tag this year?
I haven't bought it yet. I'm checking to make sure I need to buy one.
I understand.
I got
Yeah.
cameras out.
Yeah. So I guess what you kind of said, you were hooked from the beginning watching big ones fall. Was it more like, hey, your dad killed a big one, like, man, I want to be like dad, or did you get a pretty good one early? What was kind of that
It's
first?
more just going to like the check-in stations back in the day and seeing them. Like my dad killed some nice ones, but nothing like, huge. But, that back in the day when you used to go and see those giants in the back of the trucks, it was like I don't know, it's something that they should have kept doing.
I kind of agree with you. It was like the round table, and I'm younger, but I do remember those days. And I think gas stations and such. There was a taxidermist at a town close to me that you could buy your license and check them in there. There was different places that you could check deer, and just it's kind of like when we go out west. You can buy your license at like this little grocery store, this little town we go to, and you get a sandwich made, buy some groceries, and buy a bear or an elk tag there. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of, it's weird that nobody does it anymore, because at opening day of, what was shotgun back then was like a big event. I just
Are you
remember seeing tons of them.
exactly? So did you start out more archery or shotgun, or you always been a bow hunter? Well, hey, when rifle season comes, I'm breaking the gun out. How's that?
Well, when I first started hunting, it took me 3 years to kill a deer with a gun. And then I was 11 when I did it. And then at 12, I had a high country extreme. And that's pretty much, I mean, I hunt with both. I mean, I'm not afraid to pick up my gun, but primarily archery. If I could do it, if I was able to do it, I'd hunt with bow all year, no matter what. But, the gun season comes in limited time. I use the gun too. So
I get that way too. It's just a lot of my stands, you're probably the same way, they're set up for a bow. And actually,
mhm.
the one I was telling you about last year, I mean, I think it was a 24, so it was rifle season. But if I could take my bow, I usually do. And I love to gun hunt. I've killed some pretty good ones with a rifle or gun. But yeah, I'm the same way. It's a little bit different when you can get in close, especially the rut action, the benefits of bow hunting too.
Um, I usually I usually am done by gun season, you know, but I've got the kids and my wife, and they love the gun hunt. This one right here keeps me busy, when it comes gun season. She's all about the gun.
How was your guys' hunt tonight? I was texting. Did you guys see that deer? Or you said he daylighted.
We seen every buck I think we have except for him. So
Really?
yeah, I did end up getting a picture. I think it was him on the top of the hill back here coming down, but he was so late that wasn't going to happen. I couldn't tell 100% if it was him or not, but um, I'm assuming because that's where he went to bed earlier this morning, right before daylight. So just making an assumption that's where he went, or that's the one that was coming.
Yeah. And I didn't Facebook stalk you much, but it seemed like yeah, you've killed some bruisers, man, and also your daughter's killed some good ones.
Oh yeah, this one right here, she's crazy lucky. She
Yeah,
has she just has, I don't know. You just had to hunt with her one time. The craziest things happen. It's wild, and she
yeah,
can shoot. She can really shoot. You know,
absolutely. What are you shooting, Autumn?
350 Legend.
Okay, my our buddy over in Illinois, he just bought one for his son's
Yeah,
fiance or something like that. And he said, man, it doesn't have any kick and it's
yeah.
pretty flat shooting out to 200 yards. It's a good 200
We
yard gun. He
we've
kind of described it.
we've definitely stretched the limits of it. Both of them. My oldest daughter, she's 13. She's 10, and both of them have killed right at 200 with it. You know,
Yeah.
and they're extremely accurate for a
What
kid.
about
They're wonderful.
this time of year? You crossbow or
Hoyt
Hoyt?
RX7. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, with the
Well,
kids, yeah, they're
yeah,
crossbow. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're
The
good for the
oldest one's
kids.
really getting close. Like she's getting real close on the poundage. But
Yeah. What is it? Is it still like 35 pounds? I
40,
think.
I believe.
Is it 40? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was 35 for some
I
reason. Maybe
think it was 35 when I was younger. I don't know.
I've had to worry about it for a long time, if you know what I
I
mean.
know
But
things have changed. I always thought it was 35, and then I think they looked up and it was 40. I may be wrong though. But I told her 40. When she gets 40, she can try it. So
okay. Yeah. You mentioned RX-7, so I'll get into your equipment. So let's hear about this story. So I'll just go ahead and say, Cameron, what was it? 202 inches
no,
gross green,
Buckmaster scored him last Sunday at 206 and 7/8.
206, 7/8. So you're being a little conservative, which
Yeah. That left beam, the mass measurements on it's where I think it was real interesting because I didn't know how to, we were just ballparking it, and we knew he was over 200, but he was a little bit more than we thought. So
yeah, that's kind of how it was with mine, which you kind of want to be conservative and
beam
get
up.
surprised. But I guess
Yeah,
if you want, you have it
yeah,
there. If you want to
yeah.
show it, then let's go through the story, man. I guess, gosh, man, what a
That's
haul. Man, congratulations.
that was size more than impressed. Yeah.
What was your thought when that showed up? Did you have a history with this deer? Was this the
So
first year?
it was kind of crazy. Like when he showed up in July, I uh I got a picture of him in the fog, and I was looking at him, and I was like, I have no idea what deer that is, and like it wasn't clear, so I was like, it looks like it has crazy mass, like more mass than anything I've ever seen. Like and that was the shot of the left beam, and I just usually don't know, you have one, or I usually don't have one I don't know when it shows up, and this one had me stumped, and it was so hard to get pictures of this deer. He was always 30, 40 yards away, or the fog was getting him, or something like that. And then it took me probably a month to get a straight on picture of him, like a semi clear one. And then I still couldn't quite figure it out. And it took a while until he got right up on that camera, and then I realized what deer it was. And I mean, he's probably put 50 or 60 inches on in 1 year.
Gosh, what do you think the age is of him?
He's 6. So like I had him when he was 4, and he just kind of disappeared on me, and then he came back this year, and he had almost none of the other points he has
Pull
now. He
him
was
out
like a
again
big
if
6
you
or
don't
7.
mind.
What's that?
Show him to the picture to the camera again if you don't mind, please. I wanted to kind of see
So
how many
when you
scoreable
look at this
points.
deer, that was 15.
Okay.
So when you look at this deer, what he looked like before and how I know it's him, he had this in the crab claw and this inside point that leads in. This was gone. This was gone. And these two right here were gone. So he looked like a big 7, and he had always had crazy mass. But when I got the picture of him, that's why I was so confused because, I mean, he didn't have any of this, and you can actually see it in person right here where it used to not be there. And these are, you know,
Yeah, I can see it's almost discolored right there.
yeah, and like all of a sudden he just grew these two, and it was so confusing. I was like, what deer could that be? But when he turned straight on like this, it was obvious like that which one he was.
Man,
But,
he is neat, man. And he's got the
yeah,
tine length. That's where you get a lot of your
we named him Scissors for these points here. They wanted to call him Edward Scissorhands, and I was like, nah, we'll just call him Scissors. Well,
he's got that brow tine that kind of curls up. He's just got a lot of character, man. I
oh
really
yeah.
like that.
And after I shot him, I realized why it was so hard to get good clear pictures of him. He's got a really dark rack, like it's pretty dark, you know.
Yeah.
And like you know how when they pixelate the pictures and the videos and stuff, like it was just real hard to pick up what was on his head. But right before I ended up killing him, I had some really good like really good videos.
So what was the date when he started showing up? If you don't mind me,
It
kind of
was at the
taking us
very
through.
tail end of July, and
End of
then
July.
he was pretty much he was there quite a bit. But like I said, he was kind of camera shy. He just stayed way from the camera, so it was really hard to tell what he was.
I guess he was
I
in
didn't knew he was
velvet
big.
still.
What's that?
He's still
Yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
velvet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he lose it early or kind of late, just being that big?
Yeah, I think it was just like the last week of August he started getting started falling off, but it wasn't real late or real
Oh yeah, I don't
early.
know why I was thinking you said July. I was thinking August or something. It was a dumb question. So yeah, because I hunt Kentucky too, and I'm always, that first week's kind of your window if you want to catch one,
Hmm.
but sometimes you can't. They lose
I,
it early.
I tell you what, we had deer here at the house that was shedding velvet like around the 20th of August.
Yeah,
I mean, like a lot of them. It was kind of surprising. This year was a little different. I don't know why they got into hardhorn so fast, but it seemed like they did. Yeah.
it happened fast. I got a buddy down in Kentucky. He killed his the first weekend, and he made the mistake by grabbing it, and he pulled it off one time. But they were losing it fast this year. I mean,
Yeah.
certain areas at least.
Yeah. I got a bunch of videos of him with the hanging. Um, he was just hanging on there for a while. I don't know why he hung on to it for so long. Actually, come to think of it, on his right beam, or was it? No, it was his left beam. On some of the videos I had, uh, even after hunting season started, there was a little bit of velvet around the bottom of his base right there, and it
Really,
was kind of strange. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but everything else was gone. But like I said, he was really dark antlered, and it was really hard to see what he was. He every time he turned, he looked different, and I was like, well, I don't know if I'm seeing as many points as I think, or what it was because he stayed so far away from the camera. He was just he didn't like it at all. But
they say some of those bigger bucks know where your cameras are. Like they
I
can
tell you,
see that light.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The tactic cams with the red glow in them
Yeah.
is what I was running, and he was definitely picking up on it,
Yeah, they
like
they know
far
where they're
away.
at. They're getting smarter, man, like, they're
Yeah.
catching on to us, I swear.
Oh yeah, they're definitely adapting some. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
So, I'm assuming and, just folks, listen, I'm just meeting Cameron and such, we didn't talk much before this. I'm assuming you were kinda had a property you were managing food plots and such, that's how you're getting pictures or just, hey, just
This is a
hardwoods and
permission piece that
okay.
is kind of just it's hard to explain it. It's just a sea of cornfields, and it's kind of weird. Like you wouldn't believe where this thing was staying, and it was making it so hard on me to get pictures of him. I mean, he was doing about I would say from start to finish, all night long, about an 800-yard loop. and if
Really?
you weren't in that loop, we weren't getting him. So it was kind of wild. And then I waited till I had to move some cameras around to find out where he's coming in the evening. I had it pretty much covered in the morning, but it was right before daylight a lot, like right, half hour, 45 minutes before daylight. And I trying to figure out, there's property lines, and he was leaving me to go bed on another property.
Mhm.
And I was just trying to figure out any way I could, get to him. And he just wasn't giving me any options. And then I kept putting it together what he was doing. He was doing so on this property. He was doing something completely different than the rest of the deer. Like, I mean, completely by himself, away from everything, and I just couldn't figure out. I'd get every smaller buck in there in the same place I was getting him in the morning, but as he would go to bed, I'd lose him and have nothing on him in the evening. I moved the camera around. Me and my wife went over and we drove truck around this field and found a place that looked like a big deer was coming out of this corn. And
Mhm.
I set it on that trail coming out of it, and I got him like literally 3 hours later. And I was like,
Was
okay.
was he bedding in the corn? Was he eating corn? Because you killed
So
this, a little bit earlier on, maybe before the corn got harder.
yeah, it was all standing still. So there's two cornfields, two different properties at the top of this property, and a fence line that runs down the center of the two. And there's like multiple small trees in that fence line. And I believe he was bedding in that fence line under those trees. And when I was hunting that night, I was on the ground, and there's like a strip of weeds between the corn and this other field here. And that's where I was sitting to
So
get him
you
come
shot
out.
him on the ground?
Oh yeah, yeah, like
Really? Okay,
yeah.
tell me more about that. Blind or
So
just brushed in?
no, like there's brush in between this old fence row here, and it's like 6 foot tall. So I got in behind that stuff. So I'd have to explain it to you. Come to a corner. We had an east northeast wind,
Uh-huh.
so I just set up. I had her drive me in the truck as I threw milkweed out of the window of the truck until it quit going to where I thought he was, and then I had her drop me off right there and got in the behind that brush.
Do you
Which is
usually
not the
do
first
you
time we've ever done this. We've done this a lot, but not on nothing like this.
do you usually
So
hunt from the ground? Do you do, like, the saddle hunting? That's getting
I do that
popular.
too, yeah.
Okay.
But when I started hunting, I guess the best way to explain this, when I started hunting with the girls, you know, they're all every one of them, including my wife, were scared to death to get off the ground. So it kind of forced me to hunt on the ground. But we've gotten to be really, really productive with hunting on the ground. Like
Any blinds or just brushing in?
usually just brushing in. We do have a couple ground blinds here and there, but usually it's just on the ground. We'll figure out a way to hide. We've done it a lot. Like
That is
um,
so interesting, man, and that makes to me, that makes the kill even,
actually, you
more
can go
valuable with
back,
a bow
and
on the ground.
if you look on my Facebook, there's a couple videos on there with Autumn shooting stuff on the ground, like with me. Like, and there's definitely that 10 pointer in Ohio we did. Yeah, that's on there too.
If I
That
didn't
eight,
shoot your friend request, I need to because I don't know if you're public or not, but I definitely will after this. I'll look
yeah,
at that, man. That's awesome. Okay, so sorry to interrupt. Go ahead with the story. You were throwing milkweed out the truck.
yeah. And then I just kept throwing it until I felt like when the thermals would actually drop, they'd be going away from me. And then
Hmm.
I got the wind that I needed. When I was throwing it through the corn, I was just trying to keep it off that fence. Like I knew that that's where it should come from. And I got to a spot, and it ended up putting me about 35 yards from the corner of where I thought he would come out. So when he come out, the craziest part is I heard him get up. I didn't know positively it was him, and he evidently there must be a scrape under that tree, like or somewhere in there, because he started raking his head on something. Now I did at one time have a spike come out before him, so I'm in your mind you're thinking that's probably going to be that spike. Like what's the chances of that thing actually being as early as it was, and we'll get into that too. And I'm a red moon guy. I don't know if you are or not, but I have killed almost all these deer on the wall, and I've got a ton more out in the barn and stuff. Like I got to looking back at it, and it was unintentional that m- all but two of them, the two that were in the rut, were red moon deer, and I didn't even know it at the time. But in 2017, to kill this 180, that's what I used to do it. Like, and that was when I really, really started paying attention to that, and it's been absolutely lethal
So
for us.
was this the first time you'd hunted this buck?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so first time, so you went in there. Now, explain to me with the red moon, because I know a little bit. My buddy's real big on it. I play the moon phase, and definitely with elk hunting, the moon definitely affects them.
we're
What
losing
are you looking for with that red moon?
internet. Just one other thing. Got it.
Yep,
Okay, went out for a minute.
I still got you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Now I heard your buddy was a red moon guy.
Yeah, yeah. So explain to me how you played the red moon.
So basically, in my observation of what I think it is I think that whatever those deer are going to do after dark, that hour after dark, that first 2 3 days of that red moon, they'll just do it in broad daylight. And I've like that one I was telling you about, the big pronghorn looking thing. Uh, that deer specifically would only daylight on the second night of the red moon. Is one of how I ended up killing him. Was because of that. I started patterning that. I hunted that deer for three. Yeah. So the way I look at the red moon is it's literally they're going to do their normal thing, but just way earlier. I mean, if you run trail camera, and then that works the best on deer that are 5 and older. That's what I've found with it. Like the 3 and 4 year olds, it doesn't seem to change them a whole lot, but there's something to do with them older deer that it definitely does. And if you know where one's bedded or going to go to, to feed, it's just worked phenomenal for me. Like absolutely.
So one question with the red moon, do you care? Let's just say, hey, it's the red moon, but it's 90 degrees out. Are you still
I'm
hunting?
still
You
going.
don't care about weather at all?
Yeah. Well, we've kind of tested this at the house because we got a bean field next to the house. And in the summer, when it's really, really hot, we wait for the red moon. That we have it like a really old, like probably 8-year-old 8 pointer. When that red moon hits, he is always the first one into the field. And like you can watch
Okay.
it over and over. I've got like probably 100 videos of him doing it, and we were able to time it. And the really big, nasty looking pronghorn deer that I killed, I was like 10 years old. He literally second red moon. I got tons of videos of it. Like it just become a thing where for whatever second night of the red moon, he was guaranteed going to be daylighting. And it's wild. Like that one really showed me the older the deer, the more it worked. Like, and we're talking, he was, as soon as that moon would hit, he was on his feet. It was wild.
Okay.
You know, it's probably, that's been a real big thing for me because I'm limited on time, like really bad. Like I work, 60, 80 hours a week usually. And I know that when the red moon's coming, if I just do my homework before it gets here, that if we can make it happen, and that's exactly
Okay.
what happened with this deer. I had not hunted him yet. Now we did go over there in youth season, see if we could get an eye on him, but we never did. Like he was, for whatever reason, that weekend he wasn't around. I never got anything on him, even at night, and I don't know what that was about. He just did something different for 2 nights or 2 days. I don't know why, but
Okay. Man, so I think on the story, so you set up when the milkweed, when you thought it was, or no, you'd said you heard him stand up,
yeah, and he
correct?
he there evidently is a scrape down that fence line somewhere. I heard him raking his head and limbs, and then it went silent. And maybe I'm crazy, but you ever like heard a deer jump the fence without actually hearing them? It's like when you hear their body when they land, that like that
Yeah.
thud, and it's you just kind of like hear their guts moving or whatever it is. And at that time I
Mhm.
knew he was close, and I still couldn't see him. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and I'm like, I know that it's either him or that spike. Like, and I just kind of waiting, but I did not have a picture of that spike going back into there in the morning. So I had a real good feeling it was going to be him. And probably 10 minutes goes by and I'm sitting there motionless. And then I get a vibration and my phone goes off, and I pick it up and I look, and I'm like, well, what is it? And it was actually that camera that's pointed right there. And I opened my phone and I look, and I was like, oh my God, he's right here. you know?
Yeah.
And then it was,
Okay.
you talk about get messed up. I was messed up knowing that thing was that close to me, and it was getting ready to go down because as long as he did what he did the last 2 nights in a row, it was going to happen. And I waited and waited and waited, and then all of a sudden I could see him coming, and I just got ready, and the rest was a blur, like. And before he was going down, he went out about 50 yards and stopped and tried to like turn around and look at me. I was already on the phone trying to get a hold of my wife. I was like, I did it. I can't believe I just did this.
Wow.
You know, like,
So so you kinda said a blur, had you pre-ranged? Because I'm a big,
oh, he
you know,
was
I need to
15
know the
yards.
range.
There was no neat reason to.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Now I checked the distance from that camera to where I was sitting was 45 yards. So I knew that it was going to be 45 yards, and it should be, that distance or in. But he come up right on top of me, and
Were you? Because I mean, I had sh I you know, I did dabble with a little bit of a recurve, and I was over in Kentucky, and I had some bait out once. It's like those deer have a sixth sense when they're that close. I was up on a
yeah,
hill,
oh yeah,
and I kept getting, caught drawing back. Now this was just me, just I was more experimenting with does and such. But, like, being that close, were you sitting on a chair, or, like, how were you not making any noise? Because 15 yards, man, I mean, you can hear him breathe.
luckily we had a little bit of wind, like,
Okay.
and that was helping me because the area is kind of flatter, so we have a little bit of wind going. But I, as soon as he started walking, I could hear him, and I just went ahead, got ready, and then by the time he got to me, he turned, and when he was just slightly quartering, coming across, and like, I didn't stop him or nothing. Like, I buried that pin and went for it.
Yeah, there's
So
no reason I mean, that close, you might
no,
spook him, you
yeah,
know?
it was a crazy situation. Like, it was just kind of wild. But we've killed him on the ground like that quite a bit. But like, I was questioning when he was on trail camera how big he actually was, and let's just say when he was coming at me, I had no doubt he was 200 when he was coming.
Gosh, man, what
Yeah, that was
that is amazing.
yeah. And then when I called her, that's the first thing I said to her. I said, "Yeah, he's definitely 200." And she didn't know I killed him yet. I was like, "He's definitely 200." She's like, "Well, is he dead?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's laying in the field." Like, it was crazy. It was kind of.
And is this the first 200 that you've
Yeah,
chased?
yeah, yeah. The biggest one was the 180 before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, man, and what an accomplishment. That's everybody's dream, you know, I killed a pretty good one last year, and everybody's like, "Man, it'd be hard to top that," but that 200-inch club is definitely a dream of mine, and that is awesome.
Leading up to this year, I thought I was going to really struggle to get anything that's 60 range, to be honest. Like, I didn't really
Mhm.
have anything coming into this year. Well, there's a long story behind that. I killed I don't know if you've seen on my Facebook, I killed a drop tine deer last year, and we lost everything we had in Ohio, our lease, over that drop tine deer. And
Really?
yeah,
Just neighbors or people found
a
out and
group of
came and
guys got
outbid you?
together and found out where it was, and they paid a lot more money than I was willing to. So
I know, and when I killed my pretty, I say it was a big one, I'm so glad you wanted to come on here and talk about this because I was skeptical, like neighbors get upset
yeah,
and this and that, and it's like, I put it on Bucks of Indiana. I was appreciative that you did that, because I want to, not boast about it, but share it with people, share the county and such, and not have the repercussions. Which I feel like there were some, but
yeah.
have you had any of that from this one?
Oh, dude, I bet you I've had 500 or more people ask me, "Where'd you kill it?" I
I
said,
know everybody wants to be like, "Where'd you kill it?" I'm like,
"Yeah."
"Hey, let me just drop the
Oh, oh,
Onyx pin
well,
for
if
you,"
you've watched my face or seen my Facebook and see how many deer we kill, and we kill a lot of them. At the at this point, I don't know of anybody that kills more deer per year than we do as a family. As far as nice deer goes. But I ended up having to buy a truck once I got this deer, a random truck, just to get people off of me. I mean, that's for real.
That is ridiculous,
And
man.
I was like, I just don't want anybody knowing where I'm going. Once I knew how big it was, I knew that I couldn't let anybody know about it. Like, and that's the worst part about this kind of stuff, is because I want to share this with everybody. This is the coolest
I
thing.
know.
As far as my hunting career, I don't know if I'll ever kill another 200, but you can't tell anybody about it. There's two or three people that knew about it, and they kept their mouth shut. And
Do you think if you killed another deer of this caliber that you would, share it the way you have?
well, I mean, I had problems before this. It really hasn't got that much worse as far as that goes. But I mean, to me, the deer deserves it. That and my.
I agree with you.
I mean, that's just a
I agree
shame that
with you.
people are the way they're. I mean, like we was talking, there's people that get wild over 140s that they're knocking on every door around you to get as close as I can to you. But
I know, man, and, I don't hopefully, we don't have any listeners like that, but, we're all just, trying to every white Johan wants to kill a big buck. They
yeah,
can say they don't, but everybody wants to kill a
well,
big buck, and,
that it's
it's
funny.
not worth losing friendships over or crossing moral lines,
Yeah,
it's,
and the people that want to come and sit on top of me, they're going to shoot every 2 and 3 year old that goes by them. So what's the point? Like I'm not shooting that stuff. And that's not bragging. That's just I'm not. I don't. That doesn't make me happy anymore. I do it for big, old mature deer, and I have no problem shooting a 130-inch 5 or 6 year old 8 pointer either. I think if that's all I got, that's what I want to hunt. I think people make a huge mistake by not hunting the oldest deer on their property because that deer
yeah.
unlocks everything you need to know for when that 200 does show up. And people don't think of it that way, but I had a lot of years where I had to shoot 130s and 140s, 5 and 6 year old deer that, a lot of people said they wouldn't shoot. Well, I'm stacking them up so when that big one does show up, I know how they're going to use it.
And the experience, we were talking our last podcast, just you said, you got the jitters and this and that. You kind of, and Danny alluded to this, to get over buck fever, the best way, man, is to start killing some animals. I don't know about you, but
Oh
we
yeah.
love deer meat and elk meat.
Hmm.
I public land elk hunt, man. Like, if it's a cow or bigger, I'm probably flinging an arrow. By the time I get out there and all the endeavor, it's only fair to my family I bring meat back. And I tell people, hey, we're going to eat the meat. I ate the buck, I shot last year and he was big. I saved the meat, actually took him to a walk in freezer. But I think it's really neat to, I don't know if people want to put a label on trophy hunter, but hunt an old mature deer to test yourself and to test him and then honor
Oh yeah.
him, because he doesn't, to me, if the right person kills him, it's a lot better than him getting old and coyotes getting him.
Yeah. Well, it's like with this 200, that's the biggest inch deer I've ever hunted. But like I was telling you about that crazy looking pronghorn deer, like that deer, everybody was trying to kill him for so long. And he just kind of started going downhill. At one point, that deer was a lot bigger rack than what he ended up being when I shot it. But that deer taught me things that I didn't. I mean, I'd already killed a lot of deer and a lot of mature deer, but what that deer was doing was just crazy. Like, the stuff that how smart and, almost cocky. I had a name for him that we won't say on here, but every time I seen him, that's what I called him because like he just did
Yeah.
stuff that was, it just kind of changed the way I thought about all of it. And I killed that deer in 21, and I haven't ever really had one that worked me like that one did. Like, I mean, it was crazy. Like what the stuff that one deer was doing. You know,
And I can tell you like the chase. I mean,
well,
I think
yeah,
there's
exactly.
always a little bit of luck that comes involved, but obviously I think it sounds like you've earned this and you're
Yeah,
well seasoned that you kind of in a sense earned a buck of that caliber,
yeah,
like you were saying.
yeah. I mean, I've put a lot of them down, and I like I said I have no problem if I don't have a big 5 or 6 year old deer to hunt, antler wise. I'll shoot one of them 130s, 140s like all day long because, like I said, if you stay hunting that age of deer, I know there's a lot of people say, oh, they don't get that old anymore. Everybody's got a 280 pound, 120-inch 8 pointer. Everybody does somewhere. I mean, they're everywhere, and those are them old deer that are smart and got around everybody. And to me, that that's cool. I like that.
Hmm.
They've got around everybody. They could say they're passing them, but I don't believe so. I think they're just getting around them. Uh,
Yeah, we had one show up on one of our farms, and man, he's just so heavy. And like you could see a younger buck, probably 2.5-year-old out there, and it was just day and night,
oh
just
yeah.
the size of the body. He's only shown up once too. And I mean, I have one that has a lot more inches,
Hmm.
but this one's older,
Yeah.
like you're saying. And this one would score well too. He's probably 145-inch 8 point. Like
Yeah.
he's
No, he's a good one.
nice,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And that's I think that's mainly why when I do get a really big one, that I'm able to kill it most of the time is because of I don't waste time with an age class that I'm not gonna you know, have a 180 or 170 or, I guess there's people that do have 3 year olds that get that big, but I don't, I definitely don't.
You got pretty good genetics. Let's go. What equipment? You kind of alluded Hoy RX-7.
Ultra.
What I guess go through the equipment you were using. I guess
I
arrow
use a
broadhead.
Carter hinge release and a Q80 rest and Easton, I guess, arrows. I have to look at them to see what exactly them were, but we just got the arrows not that long ago. But, huh? No, I'd have to look at them again to be honest with
It
you.
don't matter.
No,
Yeah.
they're 556 grains. I can tell you that. Yeah, I shoot a
Okay.
heavier.
Heavier arrow.
Yeah, but yeah, that's about an
What
HHA sight. You know, so
what broadhead?
oh,
That's
that's
the
a
big thing
Schwacker.
now.
Schwacker, leave my order.
Schwacker,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah. I've had really good luck out of them.
Okay, that's interesting. I haven't heard anybody using Schwackers in a while. I think a long time ago I used them and such. I have an RX-7 myself, so it's we went to Pennsylvania Total Archery Challenge and they were interviewing people and that was the most popular bow there. That was a popular bow for Hoyt.
Yeah, I love it. I don't plan on getting a different one anytime soon. Yeah.
Well, they're 200-inch killers.
Yeah.
Shout out to my co-host Danny Moore. He's a Matthews guy. I give him a hard time. You know, Hoyts kill 200-inch deer is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying? Get serious, get Hoyt. There you go.
That's right. That's right. And I'll get him on there at some point.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you kind of went through the story. If you wouldn't have killed this deer during the red moon, how would you have hunted him? Like what? I guess you say you kill a lot of them during that. Does it just usually pan out? Was there acorns? I know there's corn. What was the game plan with him after that?
If I would have done it the way I done it, it would have had to been a cold front. Or I mean, with what he's doing, there was no trees anywhere. You know, I mean, like not anything to get in. I kind of had no choice. And if they went and picked that corn, I knew he was going to move because that's happened in the past at the same place where we had a pretty good, nothing ever that big, but like pretty good deer staying in that corn. And then when they picked it, they're gone. So I knew there was a time frame there that I had to get on him. And it was just like, you know, going for broke, I guess, you know, either killed him or I messed it up. And then I was willing to gamble that knowing that at any minute that corn's coming out and I wasn't going to have him anyway. So that was kind of the way I thought about it. And I'll tell you this, when she was dropping me off, I was reaching for my binoculars in the truck and I was shaking. I was like, I knew with this red moon that this was, and she's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right. And I'm like, you don't even understand. Like when this thing comes out, like this, I may not be able to hold myself together at all. You know, like it'll be my biggest deer in it. And the way I'm doing it, if it works, you know, I think I rode a high from that for 2 days straight, you know, after that, just going back, you know, you replay everything in your head and you're just like, wow, that was insane. Like it was insane. Absolutely insane. Oh, I
Double
really
lung, heart
wished,
shot.
no, it's just double lung right behind the shoulder. I mean, and well, that you've seen the exit side in them pictures. That's the exit. He was quartering slightly to me. So
Okay.
when you look at the pictures on the internet, that's the exit. So maybe it's just right behind the shoulder and zipped right through him. But yeah, it was something else. I don't know how to describe that feeling watching him go out there and stop and start spinning and realize I did it, you know. But
Wow, man. And I definitely getting him mounted, of course, you
yeah.
know. What I guess to display that type of rack, what pose did you go with? Just out of curiosity.
So what was the name of that? It's like I don't have one here that's exactly like it, but he's turned to
Or
the
like,
right. Um and yeah, he's turned to the right, you know, and he's going to be on a pedestal kind of deal.
I say, yeah. I didn't
'Cause
know if
I
you were I
felt
didn't
like
even know maybe you were gonna do a full body mount or something, you know?
I'd never thought about it, and then after it was said and done, but I kind of wanted to make sure this part was showing, you know, because of how big it is, that mass measure, you know. It's kind of,
Exactly. Yeah, I did that with mine. Mine kinda had like a triple brow tine. I wanted that showing. There's definitely a way to show them, but, you know, really we don't mount a ton of deer, you know, but you have to, you get one of
anymore they're
that
getting
type
so
of caliber.
expensive. I don't want to. It's like it's kind of crazy, you know. Like the cost of a shoulder mount anymore is wild.
I know, exactly. Wow, man. Well, you've got a ton of experience, you know, and I'd like to have you on here again. You were
Yeah,
showing me other deer. You've got like a 180 something. I'd like to hear that story. You've alluded to the 10-year-old. Man, if you're willing, we'll have to have you back on here
yeah. I'd
and get
like to
some
do a
knowledge from you.
yeah. I'd like to do a story on that the one I was talking about 10-year-old deer. Like that one probably was. my it will probably always be my biggest accomplishment. And as far as the game goes, like I think he scored like 130 something, but he's a spike on one side. He's just got a brow tine and a 2 foot spike. It's pretty crazy looking. If you look back on my Facebook, you'll find it's in 21. And I mean, he
Okay.
was enormous. And I have more on that deer than any deer I've ever hunted because I hunted him for 2 years straight. And I feel like, I'm kind of at my peak of my game. And he literally beat me for 2 years straight, hunting him on the red moon, hunting him on cold fronts, hunting him and he was in a block of timber that isn't very big. And it was insane because I would see him more than I didn't and still couldn't get that thing killed. Like even with the gun, it was just nuts. And had a hard time with him. And when I killed that deer, I was pretty happy.
How many cameras are you running to I guess, maybe I don't want you to give away anything, but how much property are you running to try to find a deer this caliber, and how many cameras?
Well,
Like, I've got different, 100-acre parcels, I guess you could say, and you could
yeah.
add it up. I mean, how much are you hey, man, you just got a couple good spots, and every couple years, you're gonna have something.
Well, at one point in Ohio, I had quite a bit of ground, and then we lost all of it, like I said. And I'm running about 19 cell cameras on average. You know, and that's about I think we're at right now.
That's
But
quite a bit. I think I'm running 13. It's like
you know,
it's expensive
but
per
when
month,
I
man.
do get one, I'll shotgun effect it, throw them out there, and when I get a good one that I know that I want, I'd say 5 or 6 cameras are going on that deer trying to find him, usually.
Yep.
And then sometimes more. Like, and in this case, I had I think 7 on him before I actually got what I wanted out of it. And I was able to pull the other ones and just leave it where it was at. And yeah, that's why I like hunting these deer that are like I said, 5, 6 and beyond. They're so specific in what they do. They're just, they're not walking around doing stupid stuff. So you can really, really like hone in on what they're doing. I feel like they're easier to hunt than a 3 or 4 year old because you never know what they're going to be doing.
I know. I would put him at 4.5, maybe 5.5 this year. I'd say he's 160, 165, and I need to put more cameras on this property to find. I think I know where he's coming from, and it's the neighbors.
Yeah.
But I've just got that one camera, but I get a picture of him. I would say almost every night.
Mhm.
And then I almost had him daylight, and I thought I knew where he was bedding, and he was coming out to this food source, but I think I need to take your advice there. And once I find a good deer of that caliber, shotgun effect, and maybe he is making a huge loop, and like, yeah, I know where his bed, but maybe he's starting where my camera is and ending somewhere where I could, get him in daylight.
Well, to give you an example on this one, I was only, I mean, it sounds like a lot when you say it this way. I was only 300 yards off of where he was coming out in the evening, where I was getting him going back in the morning. And what he was doing is doing a giant loop through this corn and going back to that bed. But on the one camera, it looks like he's going exactly opposite away from his bed. Like, so you think that's what he's doing, but he's actually turning, going back into the corn and going all the way up, 300 yards from where that was in the morning. So you could see it happening, like that, but that's what he was doing. And I picked up on the east wind thing. He was coming out of that corner out on anything with an east or northeast in it. So I
That's a
knew,
tough wind to get, and usually
oh
the
yeah,
old saying, "Wind from the east, not fit for man nor beast." Did
yeah.
that bug you any, or I guess you
This might be the first deer I ever killed on an east wind of any kind. Like if I don't remember any that, because when it was an east wind, I never set anything for that. And when I was younger, it seemed like this time of year we had a lot of north and northwest, and we rarely get them. Like we have them right now, but like it's not like it used to be. Seems like the wind's changed or something. But I don't know. The northwest is my killing wind. Like
do you ever go in blind? Like, I have a property that, man, it looks so good this year. Property owner does not want a cell cam on there. Do you ever have that situation where you're like, "Man," because I use Onyx a lot,
hmm
and I'm
Oh
sure you
yeah,
use it as
absolutely.
well, like go ahead.
I have, yeah, actually. The story with this 180 would uh we got permission on a property that was very small, and the very first time we hunted it, my wife shot a deer that we ended up not finding, that was a lot bigger than this deer, and that's why we named that 180 Junior. Is over a giant deer. We walked in, we did a little rattling sequence and kind of just looked at the sign as we're going in and shot the biggest deer of her life and biggest one at that time I'd ever seen, and just didn't end up getting it. We found the body weeks later with no head on it. Somebody's got it, but we
Oh, man.
yeah.
That happened in Kentucky this year, and I think the guy got it back. He put
Oh,
a
that's
reward
cool.
out,
Mm,
and, he did get it back.
yeah, I kind of like hunting blind too. That's fun. I like putting my eyes on stuff that I don't know. I go and help a lot of people to go, kill nice deer, and there's a lot of people tell you I've done that, and I just love tearing down a new place. Like I don't know what it is about that. I don't even have to be the one to kill it. I just let me do that part. I love that
Yeah.
part. You know, getting anxious over what's going to be on that camera when we finally do start getting pictures in. You don't know, and I enjoy
No,
it.
I like that just as much, getting permission,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
exploring new areas, I've been, telling dad to go hunt the biggest one we have right now. I'm trying to find it's almost like a game to me. I'm trying to find another one, kinda close to my house just
Yeah.
because I like this area and such, but I guess real quick, we're coming. I don't want to take too much of your evening away. Um, the date we're at right now, give me some advice. What are you looking for right now? If you still have a tag in your pocket, what are your thoughts? Drop some wisdom on me.
So today's 23rd. On 24th, there's a red moon. So that's tomorrow. 25th and 26th. If you guys can get in the woods, you have a big deer that's 45 minutes after dark, hunting the next 3 days. Like
Okay.
that he will daylight. Just pay attention to what he's been doing in the evening. You know, right now they're going to start checking does. I don't think we're quite here at the house. They're not really acting like I would like for them to be acting at this time, but we do have a red moon coming this weekend, and Lord willing, we're going to put a couple more down because I'm going to try to get my wife on one and my daughter. But tonight, I knew going into the night, like there's a good chance we weren't going to see that deer because the night before the red moon, it always is late movement, super late. But that first night, it'll be really, it's 50-50, depends on the actual deer you're hunting. It's kind of weird how they throw patterns that are different from one another. And that first night of the red moon, you're either going to get a lot of movement or not so much. But that second, third night has been absolutely money for me for I mean almost 10 years now that I've been doing it. It's crazy. And like I said, the drop tine deer I killed in Ohio last year, I did not hunt that deer one time all year because I didn't have him until right after Thanksgiving, and then when I got him, I I started getting him. When they're doing that cruising thing middle of the day. Well, he ended up just kind of hanging around and staying there. I waited for I think it was on the 12th. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think it was the 12th. I killed him. Maybe I'll have to look at it. Well, we killed something on the 12th. I know that. No, 12th of
How big was
December.
that drop time buck?
Uh, he's in the 50s, but he's really wild looking. Like a
Okay.
7-year-old deer. I had neighbors that had him to the north of me. We shared information for a long time, but it just seems to work on them older deer. Like you hear them guys talk about it, and I think the people that can't see it happening, and I know there's people that think the moon's garbage and all that. And I can say I don't pay attention to anything but the red moon when it comes to moon stuff. Like, and I've watched it. You can ask friends I have that I I call it before I go, and then they do it, and they like, how in the world you know? I'm like, well, if you know that deer at all, and you use that red moon right, knowing how to you got to have the right wind and stuff too. But I think where people don't see it working is because they're not actually, you know, they're moving him or their wind's not right or something like they're not paying attention to that stuff to see how well it works. Like I mean, every one of these deer, I can show you every one that I've used it on them daylight on it. And it's like, okay, well, he daylighted tonight, I'll go kill him tomorrow. Or
You
if
got the proof, man.
yeah, I
I
mean it
believe you. My buddy's real big on it. I try to listen to him. It hasn't, proven itself to me yet, but
yeah,
I'm trying to get a lot more knowledgeable when it comes to whitetail. I'll leave my ego at the door. I've killed some good deer, but I think there's always some luck involved and such, and I'm very persistent. I have a passion for it, but
yeah.
I think sometimes less is more. Now I have a family and I'm limited with time. I travel for work and such, so I'm trying to be very strategic of when I go and get the most out of the hunt that I can because our numbers are down.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, and you know the area I'm in and such, even it's historically very good and such, but used to be you would always see deer, and at least it would entertain you. And there was a couple years not too long ago that's like, did I just waste my time or was
yeah.
it counterproductive,
22
So,
22 was really bad on us here in my
yep.
house. I mean, it literally wiped everything out. We had almost nothing, and it was terrible. And we're bouncing back from it. We actually got a pretty good deer number now. All these bucks that we have coming up, they're up and comers. They're not quite there yet. We do have a couple nice ones, but
I've seen some good ones on the Facebook page,
yeah.
and I guess the county, that's close to you at least,
Hmm.
and I'm surprised because you guys did get hit hard a couple
Oh, it
years
was
ago.
terrible. But I think there's good that comes out of it. I mean, this deer may not have exploded if he didn't lose, 75% of the herd and had a lot more food to eat. I don't really know what caused that, but I've never seen one do what he did. And I'll send you pictures of this deer and you see what it did. It was a gift from God, no doubt. Like it was like, wow, that's unbelievable. It was such a jump that I had no idea what deer that was. And that almost never happens. Like you can ask my wife, I can look at them for a half a second and know what deer it is 90% of the time. And this was just like I was stumped for weeks trying to figure out where did I miss this thing? How did I miss this thing? Not have this from years before. But and another thing too, we've hunted deer off time frames when it comes to the rut. That's another way we've killed them too. Because when the rut comes in, red moon or not, you go. But like I'd gotten to where I just don't like the rut anymore. I'd rather
Mhm.
hunt them with the red moon and wait for either food or cold or something. And, whatever they're doing. I mean, if you can get on them, you can find them. What I've found
I
too is that with these older deer, they don't move like people think distance wise. 90% of the time. I mean, they do seem like they go on big long strolls every once in a while, but they're always back. If they're comfortable where they're at. You know,
I know, I remember, I think it was that Huff buck,
which I'm friends with
guys had
two of them guys that was hunting that deer.
yeah, I think, those guys that had brought that up, but I think that there's some statistics that when the does first come into estrus, some of those big old brutes, man, they take a stroll and they go. Like you said, they'll be back, but it is documented.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed over the years too, everybody's like waiting for lockdown to finally be done where the deer are up and getting moving again. I've kind of done so much paying attention to it. I can it's the 19th of November every year. Like I killed. It's so weird because I've killed so many in that time frame, and I go back and look at my trail camera pictures the 19th every year, and people can watch it. And for whatever reason, it's like the very tail end of the 18th and leading into the 19th, all of a sudden they just break free, and it's like a light switch. And that every year I killed the 180 on the 19th because of that reason. So
Mine was the 24th, and it seemed like he had just shown back up. It was the
yeah,
first time I'd seen him. I don't know if you heard that story, but,
yeah, I listened to it actually this morning, I think, on the way to when I was driving.
yeah, so and he had just showed up, and he was just like, what, like he was back in town,
Yeah,
he was rubbing
like
a
yeah,
tree,
like he
I
never
think you're
left.
right with that.
Yeah, and that's what I think people think they go, "Oh, well, it's a rut, they're gonna go 10 miles." That's not really what happens. What if you're able to sit there and watch a mature deer enough, like where you're actually watching him get up out of his bed and do what he's doing, 90% of the time, them does go to him. Like, and then people think he's running around like crazy, and that's not usually how it works. I think everybody can say they've seen the situation where the deer tell on where the big deer's at when you're out, watching deer, and all of a sudden they all just kind of turn and see, they point him out before he's ever done anything. It's kind of like
Mhm.
that with the rut and the does. I feel like when you know where one's living and it's a small, tight area, and you can watch him without him knowing you're there, you learn so much. Like it's almost completely different than what most people think it is. And
So we got the red moon this
yeah.
weekend.
Hmm.
Uh, for those guys that are gonna hunt the rut, are you predicting the 1st or 2nd week in November being better this year?
Without knowing what the weather's going to be, I've always been a 6th through the 12th kind of guy. Like, if I'm going to hunt for big deer, like I feel like the very tail end of October, you'll get big deer locked on does, and then the first few days there, you just don't see the big ones. You see the 3-year-olds and stuff like that, but those big ones are going from that 29th of October into first week in November with does. Seems like the 6th through the 9th is really good, and I've done good on the 10th, 11th, and the 12th. So I mean, it just
The
kind of
11th
depends.
always rings a bell to me. I just hate how Indiana's rifle season
Oh
comes
man,
in so early.
I can tell you one thing: if Indiana would do the exact same things Ohio's doing, minus the baiting, we'd be killing it. You know,
Oh, I know. I think, yeah, we'd be like an Iowa or Kansas,
yeah.
and I mean, we're still a good state, but I don't foresee them doing that. But yeah, if they would just
Push that gun
give it,
season back, man, and shorten it. I mean, we can beat everybody in the country here. I mean, our genetics are amazing. Our deer just don't live long enough to get to see it. I mean, that's the truth of that. That,
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I wrote them about that. Not that they're going to pay attention, when they
yeah.
send out surveys and such, but I don't know. Well, man, I've taken up about an hour of your time.
Hmm.
I really appreciate it. You have a
Yeah.
ton of knowledge. Great deer. Congratulations again.
Appreciate it.
Um, I guess do you have anything more for me?
Not that I can think of, but yeah, if you want to get with me on some of these other ones, we can do that too. That'd be
Yeah, I think for those listening, I would like to do, and it's going to take some discipline for me, but once I guess the rut starts, which I know you're not a rut guy, but maybe trying to do like a little segments each day of like rut reports just to
hmm
kind of see. And I've got guys from different areas and such, and maybe I can get you on one or two of those. 'Cause it seems like, man, this is a passion. You're going to have other people you're out there hunting with, and maybe get a couple reports from you and see what you're seeing.
I'm down for about anything, man. Pretty easy going. I love deer hunting.
Absolutely.
That's all I talk about. It's all I do, and I don't ever get tired of it. You know.
It shows, man. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And for those listening, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.